We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Florida Senate Democratic Caucus unanimously chose out Shervin Jones as leader for 2028 through 2030, marking history. Jones claims to prioritize housing, healthcare, and voting rights.
Amid political tensions, small victories uplift communities.
UK pride groups warn of funding crisis as sponsors retreat. National Student Pride to end current format after income collapse.
Gallup's 2025 survey shows 9% of U.S. adults identify as LGBTQ+, which is more than double the 2012 levels.
A red state governor vetoing a bill targeting transgender bathroom access, calling it flawed and overreaching.
All this important LGBTQ+ news and a whole lot more this evening on Queer News Tonight. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the most popular LGBTQ+ streaming news show in the world. Our queer stories have reached more than 11 million views, and we are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ+ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in our rainbow family. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
That's right, Greg. It is Wednesday, February 18th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show. Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but created for the LGBTQ+ community. Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. Hotspots Happening Out is a proud beneficiary of the 2026 Florida AIDS Walk, standing strong by our healthcare pillar. Funds raised are matched dollar for dollar in support of our HIV policy reform and educational programs, including our MSM conference. We invite you to donate and join us on the walk, March 21st, in support of the Hotspots Happening Out teams.
In 2026, our magazine is celebrating 41 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 11,000 LGBTQ television stories. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fete, Pride Fort Lauderdale, and Stonewall Pride. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2026, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this very table and share their voice as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ+ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back to the table anchor John Hayden. He's a journalist for 31 years because, he started being a journalist when he was 3. All right. He now focuses on hyper-local reporting covering LGBTQ+ issues, Wilton Manors, Lauderdale by the Sea, Fort Lauderdale, and Oakland Park. You can see all his reports at Greater Wilton Manors on YouTube and Facebook, as well as in New Pelican, Outclick, out South Florida. And once again, here with us at the table at Queer News Tonight. Welcome back, John.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and make beautiful music together.
Yes, I love that it's us 3 today. We're going to have a fabulous show. So, John, the Pride Youth Band, who are incredible, are going to be taking the stage over at the Parker. Tell us what's going on.
Well, I'm excited for Sunday when the Pride Youth Band will take the stage at the Parker. This is the 15th year for the Youth Band. featuring more than 80 high school students from across South Florida, and new this year, the Youth Pride Jazz Band. Music and bands are always important for kids, but especially now in a time when there are fewer and fewer safe spaces for LGBTQ plus youth. I talked with Dan Bassett, the artistic director, about what this means for band members.
Can you talk about how important this is to the kids and maybe some of the benefits that they don't even realize they're getting now?
Well, band in general has always been a place, I went through band programs. It's a place of belonging. Everyone, like you said, is accepted for who they are. And it doesn't matter if they're the best player, but you're part of this band. And that carries through to the adult group. And that's why people keep playing their instrument for their whole lives. But it's important for the kids, particularly our youth band, because it really is an all-inclusive of everyone, and they can be who they are there.
All right, the show is this Sunday, 2 p.m. at the Parker. Tickets are still available at parkerplayhouse.com/events. I love talking with Dan anytime I get to, and I've seen some of the kids perform. They're just incredible. They also give out scholarships so that some musicians can continue their education. And I was talking with Dan. It's like they carry this. They learn to be together. They personify the word band.
Listen, when you talk to anybody about their experience growing up as an LGBTQ plus kid, they're always like, okay, I tried to isolate. I couldn't find others that were like me, right? Yep. Or the other side of the coin, I found others that were like me at band, in marching band, at color guard, in the drama crew, because that's where all the queer kids are. We're all in these groups. So this band is so important to these kids. It's a way to let them know that they are enough. They can do anything in the future. And they have 80 other kids there that feel the same way they do, and are as talented. What a beautiful thing. And what a stage to be on. I mean, the Broward, the Parkers, the Parkers amazing. Yeah. It's one of the most incredible venues in Broward, and they get to be on that stage. That's a beautiful thing.
Do either of you play an instrument?
I was one of the band kids that had no business. I have no musical rhythm, and I was drums.
You were there.
but I remember the point being, the directors and the teachers and some of my other bandmates that I'm still friends with today. So band was important.
I love that. I can play the triangle.
Okay.
Ding, ding. Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the Pride Youth Band at the Parker on February 22nd. Let's welcome back to the table anchor Gregg Shapiro, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of regional LGBTQ publications and websites. Welcome back to the show, Gregg, and tell me, what do you have in your hand? You have a book that I saw you post about, so I'm excited that you brought it. Tell us about it.
Well, first of all, I'm delighted as always to be here with Faye and John. I'm also honored and grateful that my poem, In the Nicks of Time, is in this fab new anthology, White-Winged Doves, a Stevie Nicks poetry anthology. The book can be pre-ordered in advance of the June 16th publication date at madvillepublishing.com. Stevie, she loves her queer fans.
Yeah.
She knows
She's
about
amazing.
Night of 100 Stevies or 1,000 Stevies. So it was great to have a chance to pay tribute to her. And it's a really sweet, fun book. And I think she deserves to have poems written about.
She does. Look, Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks. These are songs that I grew up with. And John was just mentioning about how he was confused about some of the lyrics of it, right? You gotta love when you get to look for the lyrics on your phone and you're like, I've been singing that line for how long wrong?
And nobody corrected me.
Because, come on, but some of her lyrics, I'd be like, what? That was what that word was, Can you tell me a little bit about what inspired you to write the poem that's in this book?
Yeah, it was sort of, sometimes you get a call for submissions that people say, I'm putting together an anthology. There was a Dolly Parton anthology that came out a couple of years ago that I'm in. And so sometimes I'll say, oh, sure, I have a Stevie Nicks poem, and then I have to hurry up and write one. So basically, I hurried up and wrote one, and it was accepted for publication.
Oh my God.
It was really fun. I kind of go back to the 70s, 80s, and I kind of go through different periods. And I loved writing it, and I hope she gets to see it. I hope she sees it.
I have a feeling she will.
I hope so.
Someone's just going to read it to her before she goes to bed every night. Like, this weird guy in Fort Lauderdale loves me a little too much, right? What's the name of the book again so we can get it, please?
The book is called White-Winged Doves, a Stevie Nicks poetry anthology.
I love that. All right. And thank you, Gregg Shapiro, for being back at the table at Queer News Tonight.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor and my bestie, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspots Happening Out's The FayWhat Show, where I may appear next week.
Yep.
Faye, Myrna's Deal with the Dead and Inside the Oasis double feature is coming up on February 20th. Tell me, what is happening out?
Yes, so join Myrna and friends for a special double feature. You know we love double features, right? So it's going to be an incredible evening presented by the Fort Lauderdale International Film Festival and Sabre Cinema. On February 20th, audiences will enjoy screenings of Myrna's Deal with the Dead, followed by Inside the Oasis. The night begins at 6 p.m. Guests can mingle during an intermission featuring light bites and drinks before the second film begins, promptly at 7:30 p.m. Hosted at Sabre Cinema, Fort Lauderdale, this celebration brings film lovers and the community together for a fun, memorable experience. Reserve your seats now at fliff.com/events. Oh, and this looks like a great time. I mean, Myrna has been making her films for the last couple of years, and each one crazier than the last, including people from our community in there. So you never know who's going to pop up in this version of her movie. It's also it's incredible that it got accepted into Fliff. You know what I mean? That's wonderful. That's beautiful for us, for our community, for representation everywhere. And then, Inside the Oasis, which was also done by someone locally, Andy Perot. I'm sorry if I'm going to mess. I don't know if it's Perot or Perot, but Andy, you know who you are, right? But I mean, so this documentary is also just like the history of LGBTQ down here, from just from the 70s all the way to now, from the pie in the face to dealings with Donald Trump. I mean, everything is in this documentary. They had a screening a couple of months back at Gray Box Theater, and it was incredible. It was a full house. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I wrote about Inside the Oasis for Out South Florida in December when it was screened there, and I said something to the effect of that the movie takes us on this queer journey and makes a point of providing a useful historical perspective. So you get history, but you also get the queerness.
Yeah. I mean, and you get to see Dean Trantelis from when he was a young twink to now. You see that, it's incredible to see the wonderful people that have done so much for our community have always been doing so much for our community, and Andy makes sure to show that in a beautiful cinematic way. So I'm really looking forward to this double feature over at Sabre Cinema.
Yeah, Dean Twink Talis.
Oh, nice.
You're going to love that. See, that was not me.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Myrna's Deal with the Dead. By the way, can I just say, Myrna's a hot mess, and I mean that in all the best ways. And Inside the Oasis double feature night on February 20.
I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Out Florida Senator Shervin Jones is the new Senate Democratic leader for 2028 through 2030. Florida Democrats are making history in Tallahassee. The Florida Senate Democratic Caucus has voted unanimously to designate Senator Shervin Jones of District 34 as Senate Democratic leader for the 2028-2030 cycle. Jones will step into the leadership role following the 2026-2028 term of leader designate Tracy Davis Jones. The first openly gay senator to serve in this role is known for his long-standing advocacy for civil rights and equality. Responding to the vote, he said, quote, "I want to thank my colleagues in the Florida Senate Democratic Caucus for their trust and confidence as we prepare to lead and grow our caucus. I'm inspired and equally grateful for Leader Lori Berman's unwavering leadership and excited to work alongside incoming leader Tracy Davis as Senate Democrats unite and forge ahead stronger than ever," end quote. Jones highlighted priorities including housing affordability, healthcare access, voting rights, and economic opportunity, adding, quote, "Our time is now to define the next decade, and I am ready to get to work," end quote. Senate Democratic leader Lori Berman praised the decision, saying Jones has a long track record of putting Floridians first. The leadership transition signals a new chapter for Senate Democrats as they look ahead to the next legislative cycle. Well, folks, you know, I don't just like Senator Shervin Jones. I love him, okay? And he really does put Florida and Floridians first, and especially queer Floridians, you know? And Florida just did something right for once. We did something right, you know? First openly gay Senate Democratic leader. That's not just history, that's power with a purpose, okay? And no one can do this role like Shervin can. I mean, I really do feel that, like, when it comes to, he's saying he's going to go after and look at, you know, housing, equality, you know, healthcare, all the things that our community is really battling right now, you know, and he's going to put it at the forefront, and I believe him.
Yeah.
Well, it's an exciting and unexpected and long overdue new chapter for Florida's Senate Democrats. I sincerely hope that, in Jones' words, that, quote, Senate Democrats unite and forge ahead stronger than ever, end quote.
Yeah, well, procedurally, I didn't even know they voted. I mean, we haven't even had the 2026 election, much less to know who our leader is going to be after the 2028 election.
Yeah.
But that said, you know, the politics ebb and flow. And so I think by the time we get there, just with the reaction, even in parts of Florida, just the reaction to President Donald Trump, and honestly, there's going to be a DeSantis hangover, and that'll be the happiest hangover I'll ever have in my life. But I think that right now, that, you know, they don't need Democrats right now. We're in a super minority. I have a feeling that by the time we get to 2029, when they start their new session, session, I really have a feeling that they will have some power. They will have a seat at the table.
Yeah.
So that's positive to look for. So good for the Democratic caucus. And I just love that word, caucus. I don't know why.
I know why.
Want to
Caucus.
Want to caucus with me after the show, Greg?
Only if it's Democratic.
I know why.
I'm John Hayden. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. It's the little acts of pride that push back on the anti-LGBTQ plus climate. In these difficult times, you have to savor the small victories. We all know times are tough, and you don't need me to rehash the litany of terribles coming out of Tallahassee and Washington. But there are a couple of wins that could lift your spirits. First, as rainbow crosswalks are erased, communities are finding creative ways to flip the rainbow bird to the fascists. The Wilton Manors Improvement District unveiled rainbow bicycle racks in the heart of the city at the Alibi intersection. Artist Claudia Castillo told me, quote, the project reflects the ongoing mission to enhance the drive with improvements that support local businesses and reinforce the inclusive, safe, and tourist destination vibe on the drive. Now, this next one may not seem like a win until you remember the fragile ego of the fascist in chief. Last year, Lauderdale by the Sea voted to co-name Sea Grape Drive as President Donald J. Trump Drive. Local Republicans even asked the White House how they wanted it to read, and even threatened, boasted, that Trump himself might visit to see the sign. Well, the sign has changed, and honestly, I'm not mad at it. Check this out. Sea Grape has top billing, while Trump appears below in a significantly smaller font. Not that size or fonts mean anything to them. I mean, honestly, how petty would that be? I'm pretty sure his team isn't showing him this. He'd be like, what? Is that even a thing? He'd probably even have Florida Governor Ron DeSantis defund the town. The moral is, in these dark times, the little dots of light are getting brighter where you'd least expect them. And if you can read about more of these stories at Greater Wilton Manors on Facebook and YouTube. And by the way, Broward Republican Facebook page has 0 references to this story. None, nada. I'm just, wow. When it's like you knew it was coming, but then I was like, oh wait, that's not, because there was a mock-up and I can't find it again, but it said it was one big long sign that said Donald J. Trump Drive / Sea Grape Drive. And that's not how it turned out. And by the way, the bike racks. Don't let the bike racks get lost in this.
No, not at all. Not at all. Big shout out going to Wilton Improvement District over there, Claudia Castillo and all of them over there for beautifying our Wilton Manors even more so. You know, those bike racks, they give me life. They make me smile, you know. It's that feeling when you drive over the Rainbow Bridge, right? And you feel like I'm home. right? And that's what the bike racks provide for, people visiting to locals alike. And that's a wonderful thing. And I want to comment on you, John Hayden. You're usually a little like negative Nancy. I look at you and you were like, no, we've got to take our victories. We have to.
Absolutely.
For our mental health, we've got to also celebrate because these are victories, honey. You know, I mean, this fool is a size queen. I am elated over the fact that, it says sea grape that big over top, Maybe they could do that for the Kennedy Center. Kennedy! And then Trump. Very little. I might be okay with that. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, I think in the orange malignancy's tertiary syphilis Swiss cheese brain, he probably hears it as seek rape when Melania pronounces it for him because he can't read. Seek rape, Donald, seek rape. Boycott Lauderdale by the Sea until they take that sign down.
And there are people who are.
Oh, yeah.
There's folks online that are super upset. I have friends who have some of their favorite restaurants in that area, and they're just not going.
There's a Chicago stuffed pizza place in Lauderdale by the Sea
honey.
that I'm going to have to stop going to. Yep.
Well, we'll keep you up to date with this story and a whole lot more. All right.
I'm Gregg Shapiro, and let's queer up the worldview. UK's largest student pride hit by DEI cuts. Pride organizations in the United Kingdom say they're facing a funding crisis as corporate sponsors pull back from diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. National Student Pride, the UK's largest LGBTQ+ student event, has announced that its 2026 festival will be its last in its current form after 21 years. Organizers report income has fallen by roughly 2/3 compared to 2 years ago. Trustee and co-founder Tom Guy told Pink News that sponsorship has sharply declined from 24 sponsors and 53 career fair stalls in 2024 to just 8 sponsors and 20 stalls by 2026. Guy says the volunteer-led organization is now struggling to sustain operations. Quote, "We've lost sponsors that we've had for years that either have just not replied to our message this year or can't do it anymore with budget cuts. Everyone is struggling. It's across the board," end quote. National Student Pride has also introduced an ethical sponsorship policy in 2024, refusing funding from oil, gas, and arms companies after activist-led boycotts. Students say the loss will be deeply felt. And here we are licking our wounds from cuts to our Pride events nationally when the story turns out to actually be a global one, which is not all that surprising given the current climate. I only hope that once these fascists fuck off for good, that Pride organizations will be able to come back stronger than ever.
And I'm sure there's a level of homophobia that's attributed to this, but also, I've found a way to blame it on Donald Trump. I mean, he puts these tariffs on, and that creates uncertainty because the EU is trying to become, just like political NATO. You know what I mean? And they're trying to rally and support. But if they go it alone without a lot of U.S. support, they have to pay more for U.S. goods. That's creating economic uncertainty over there. And that also, the last part you talked about, how they've refused funds from oil, gas companies, and stuff like that. Principled stands are great, but if someone's willing to support us at this point, take the money.
Take the money, especially if you're going from 24 sponsors to just 8. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Now, we will come out of this in the future, and I hope that you folks remember these people who are being super quiet right now, because when they were making all the money off us and our community, they were out there waving flags and putting their their logos on our flags for every given reason, right? And now they're really quiet right now, and equality is not a moment to be quiet, and this is when they're the quietest of all.
Look at how Target learned that lesson too.
Yes.
So
100%.
yes,
100%. We did a story about gay days pausing. That's a huge blow. Most of us, remember being young kids and going there and seeing the sea of red shirts and going, I am gay as hell, and not now. But again, they're also saying that they're pausing it. It's not going away for good, right? The Dinah had a scare when it came to money. Maybe these kids, maybe they'll get a big sponsor or something will come up and save them. But it still sucks.
Yeah.
What was that last flinch you did? What were you thinking?
They're paused.
You don't think that's a real
They're
thing?
not coming back.
Really?
I really don't think Gay Days is coming back. But Gay Days started just as, hey, it was before social media. Hey, let's just all wear red shirts
So if you don't make
and go to the park.
If you don't make it official, it is a chance of coming back, you think?
Well, yeah, people can still say, and especially online, we can say, let's, get your red shirt. Let's, put your group on it and let's go. But I don't think it's going to come back as an organized event. I really don't. I'm John Hayden, and let's queer up trans rights. Red state governor vetoes anti-trans bathroom bounty bill. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly has vetoed Senate Bill 244, legislation criticized by LGBTQ plus activists as an anti-trans bathroom bounty bill. The measure would have required trans Kansans to use restrooms in government buildings based on sex assigned at birth, mandated reissued IDs reflecting that designation, and banned multi-occupancy, gender-neutral bathrooms. It also imposed fines and allowed lawsuits from those deemed aggrieved. In her veto message, Kelly called the proposal poorly drafted and mentioned the bill could have consequences beyond the intent to restrict the right of trans people to use the appropriate bathroom. Kelly warned it could even restrict family visits in hospitals, nursing homes, dorms, and more, adding, quote, I believe the legislature should stay out of the business of telling Kansans how to go to the bathroom, end quote. Democratic lawmakers condemned the bill's process and impact, with one saying procedurally, it's the absolute worst bill I have ever heard in the Kansas legislature. Republican leaders vowed to override. However, LGBTQ plus groups praised Kelly's decision with a warning that the bill would fuel discrimination and harassment. I mean, all these things are terrible. But first, good for you for standing up and not thinking, oh, re-election, she may be term limited. I don't know. But good for you for saying that. But the most heinous of all of those is, and it's happened in Florida, is the reissuing of IDs. That is just, that level of discrimination comes right to your doorstep and says, you are not who you believe you are not worthy, you are not equal. And that's rancid. And anyone who supports it is rancid.
And we hate you. I mean, that's basically, if I were to receive that in the mail, I mean, to see like my friends receive their dead name and their dead gender on a license or on a passport, it's heartbreaking to see them. I mean, you know who you are for real, I mean, this thing is crazy. And then the multiple people in the stalls. So what happens to the family bathrooms, right? What happens to the folks that have to take their children to the stalls with them? This is having a lot of time on your hands, Kansas people. I mean, come on. There's bigger fish to fry.
Well, there's a lot of time and a lot of hatred on their hands. Thank you, of course, to Governor Kelly for stating the obvious that, quote, the legislature should stay out of the business of telling Kansans how to go to the bathroom, end quote. This is the kind of news that would make even Dorothy Gale glad that she returned to Kansas.
I get it. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up the USA view. Twice as many U.S. adults identify as LGBTQ+ since 2012, with Gen Z driving growth. New survey data shows queer identification in the U.S. holding steady while reflecting a dramatic long-term rise. Gallup's 2025 telephone interviews with more than 13,000 U.S. adults found that around 9% of adults identify within the LGBTQ+ community. That figure is unchanged from the previous year, but more than double the level recorded in 2012. The first year Gallup measured the LGBTQ+ population. Between 2021 and 2023, Gallup reported readings of roughly 7%. Respondents were asked whether they identify as heterosexual, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or something else. A majority, that is 86%, said they are heterosexual, while 9% identified with one of the LGBTQ+ identities. 5% declined to answer. Bisexual adults make up the largest share of the LGBTQ+ population, representing about 5% of the entire U.S. adult population. Among LGBTQ+ adults, 17% identify as gay, 16% as lesbian and 12% as transgender, each accounting for roughly 1 to 2% of all U.S. adults. Gallup notes that growth is driven largely by adults under 30. Women report higher LGBTQ plus identification rates, and Democrats are more likely than Republicans to identify as part of the community. A separate Hinge report found Gen Z to be more open-minded than millennials about sexuality as well. So 9% and climbing, and that's just the people telling the truth on a phone survey. I mean, Gen Z said we're here, we're queer, and we're not explaining it. That's it. You know, the community isn't growing, it's unhiding. That's what's going on. And if that makes some folks uncomfortable, then good, because growth should shake up the room, you know? So thank you to Gallup for taking the time to do this. I can't believe that 2012 was the first time that we were counted. I'm still like, when I was like, and I looked over at Gregg and he's like, yeah.
Well, well, when was the first time that the U.S. Census? I mean, that
wasn't too long ago.
No, that they started
counting us
up.
not so long ago.
So in a way, it almost makes sense that that it took that long.
Yeah, a lot of numbers. But my takeaway from this is that it's sort of quantifying and putting sort of an academic imprimatur on what we've all known and experienced anecdotally throughout our lives. So I'm glad to see this, and I'm glad to see more people feeling comfortable.
Forget galloping. We need to take a giddy up poll and increase those numbers faster than ever. Come out, wherever you are.
Giddy up.
Giddy up, you get it?
Thank you.
All right, you got it. That was great, Gregg.
Tip your waitress.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News, let's queer up gay culture. Olympic Village condom shortage sparks online resales. A surprising shortage is making headlines at the Milano Cortina Winter Games. Athletes reportedly ran out of free condoms just 3 days after arrival. Reports from La Stampa say fewer than 10,000 condoms were distributed across athlete villages, a sharp contrast to Paris 2024's 300,000. The scarcity appears to have fueled online resales, with packs listed for roughly $125. Organizers told People magazine, quote, "We can confirm that condom supplies in the Olympic villages were temporarily depleted due to higher than anticipated demand. Additional supplies are being delivered. They will be continuously replenished until the end of the games to ensure continuous availability," end quote. Come on, guys. Come on. Who dropped the ball here? You're going to have incredible men, athletes at the prime of their lives in beautiful bodies, glimmering under all that clothes because it's, Winter Olympics, right? And you're going to think that they're not going to need all these condoms? 10,000? They just used that at the welcome party.
Well, Italy is a predominantly Catholic country after all. However, this condom distribution shortfall misses the point about the condoms preventing the transmission of STDs, not necessarily preventing pregnancies.
And also, I mean, the athletes are beautiful. The men, the women, they are all gorgeous, but I never have sex with an athlete because, I mean, they finish like in 3/100ths of a second. LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News, let's queer up trans rights. Gender debate sparks clash at Munich conference. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton sharply pushed back against the Czech Deputy Prime Minister during the Munich Security Conference after he criticized the gender revolution. Clinton asked, "Which gender revolution? Women having their rights?" He said, quote, "Some of us think there is more than two genders. I think there is male and female, and the rest probably is a social construct. This is something that went too far," end quote. Clinton asked, "But does that justify selling out the people of Ukraine who are on the front lines dying to save their freedom and their two genders? If that's what you're worried about?" Clinton didn't touch on transgender issues directly, but she moderated another panel at the conference that featured U.S. Rep. Sarah McBride of Delaware, the first out trans member of Congress. She praised the work McBride has done in educating her colleagues about these issues. And, good for her. I mean, Hillary Clinton could have easily gone away, shrunk back into the shadows, but she didn't. She's still out there. She's talking about us, and she's fighting for us. And this security conference is just one remark from going off the rails. I mean, the Democrats sent their own delegation to counter the administration's delegation. I mean, and they're sniping at each other through international. It's ugly. So therefore, I will watch every moment of it.
Right? Grab your popcorn, right? But, also, I mean, just to shadow what John said, highlighting that Hillary Clinton has never backed down and she has always stayed strong. And even through the email bullshit with Trump and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Again, she could have just been like, you know what? I'm done with service, right? I'm going to go move somewhere else. We're out of here, And instead, she's still doing the damn thing and fighting for what's right.
And she knows how much we need her. I think that guy who was, up against Hillary, I think he was lashing out because he never got over being rejected as a Bellamy porn actor, So I think that's why he's so mad.
No, that's why he's the deputy prime minister.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. Poll shows Americans split evenly on LGBTQ plus bias as hundreds of new state bills target queer rights. A new YouGov poll shows that U.S. adults are evenly divided on whether LGBTQ plus discrimination is a serious problem. The survey of more than 1,100 adults found respondents almost equally split across all 4 response levels. 23% called it, quote, a very serious problem, while 25% said it is not a problem at all. Women were more likely than men to see discrimination as an issue. Younger adults were least likely to dismiss it. The findings come as lawmakers have introduced hundreds of anti-LGBTQ plus bills in 2026, following a record wave of proposals in 2025. God, split like down the middle. Like, I can't believe that. Yes, it's a freaking problem. Here it is. You don't need a poll. I'm telling you, it's a problem, right? And women, of course, are going to be more supportive because women are the first folks that were ever discriminated against in life. Okay. Right. So there's that.
Yeah, put down that apple.
Well, that ignorant 25% also likely thinks that the orange malignancy is a good POTUS and that the Epstein files are a hoax. So that 25% should take a hike.
Yeah, well, I want to piggyback off your comment, if I can, Greg. I know it sounds disheartening, but this 25%, that's basically the MAGA Republican base. You know what I mean?
Right.
So these numbers don't shock me. They sadden me a little bit, but they don't shock me. It kind of reflects how the country is. And I think some people who claimed to be allies when it was trendy 10 and 15 years ago might have backed off that a little bit. So I think this might be reflecting, it's not a retraction in reality. It's just a retraction in how the public is allowing themselves to identify their opinions.
Yeah, makes sense.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up the USA view. 3 killed at Rhode Island rink. Trans suspect in spotlight. Police are investigating Monday's deadly shooting at an arena in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Authorities identify the shooter as Roberta Esposito, a trans woman. 3 people died, including Esposito, who police say shot and killed herself. The other 2 victims are her ex-wife and their son, Hayden. 3 more people remain critically injured. Police say they are still working to establish a motive and are reviewing Esposito's social media activity. Some online photos show Esposito with a bicep tattoo resembling Nazis' death head and lightning bolts, like the letters SS. Separately, a Twitter account connected to the shooter appears to show far-right and conspiratorial content. This story is a tragedy, that it's someone, the shooter is someone who clearly was not well.
Yeah.
Gays, lesbians, trans, we don't have a lock on mental health. We all have our problems, our crosses to bear, and my heart just goes out to the family, the survivors, and the ones who we haven't named the other shooting victims, but we hope that that they are going to make a speedy recovery.
Yeah, they were critically injured.
Yeah.
She went into this hockey game while people were there watching this game and then, opened fire. Thank goodness for those good Samaritans that went and held her down before she could hurt anybody else, you know, but awful. And the second that this story came out, my wife was like, oh God, now they're going to tack this on us, you know? You know, and that's a given, you know?
And the horror, of course, is that it's, again, too much easy access to guns. Even with somebody with mental health issues, the fact that they were able to get guns is just, it's wrong. This is just a senseless tragedy.
And that you're able to bring it to a game, like a family-friendly hockey game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Unreal. LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Adult stars Paul Codi and Travis Connor heat up Winner Takes All, inspired by Heated Rivalry. A sexier take on Heated Rivalry has arrived. Adult performers Paul Codi and Travis Connor star in Winner Takes All, an erotic film inspired by the viral queer hockey romance. The real-life married couple say the project mirrors their journeys. Codi, a former hockey player, left the sport citing toxic masculinity and homophobia before coming out and building a following on OnlyFans. Connor transitioned from a 15-year career in drag and comedy to adult content during the pandemic. Winner Takes All is streaming now across their platforms. Well, you know, it's no secret that straight women make up a sizable portion of the Heated Rivalry viewing audience. What do you think the chances are that these same straight women will tune in for genuine, no holds barred, man-on-man action? What do you think?
Really? No holes barred? Really?
Sorry.
That's where we're going with that?
Sorry.
No, that's fine. You know, I mean, Heated Rivalry itself is sexy. Like, I only watch that in like 3 to 5 minute segments, if you know what I mean.
I get it.
I don't think I'm going to be watching this new version in any shorter time or any longer time spans.
Listen, I think I'm going to watch this new version exactly how I watched the old version, on mute. I just got to see what they're doing. I don't really give a crap what they're talking about. Let's be real, right? As a nonprofit LGBTQ media organization, we would like to thank our viewers for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We'd also like to thank the generous support of Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ community's most popular pizza in South Florida.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza, Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
These are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. Our anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ family.
If our community is important to you, then share this news with your friends and family. Don't forget to join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform. Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ+ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, FayWhat, and I thank you for joining us on behalf of my fellow LGBTQ anchors here at Queer News Tonight, including John Hayden and Gregg Shapiro. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ+ world, we wish you a good night.
Good night.